Hello everyone, and welcome to the open beta of Armored Warfare. I am a self-professed gamer nerd. I'm not afraid to admit that, and I've been following the progress of this game through its alpha testing over the last several months, and I am absolutely ecstatic that it's finally reached open beta, and I can get my hands on the controls of these tanks and take them out for a spin. What you're looking at here is the PT-76. This is one of the Tier 1 vehicles that you get right off the bat, but more on this thing later. I want to talk a little bit about the developer, Obsidian Entertainment. If the name doesn't sound familiar, it really should. This studio develops such award-winning titles as Fallout New Vegas and Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, so they command some respect. The game runs off of Crytek's CryEngine, which earned its stripes during the Far Cry franchise, and it's supported from my.com, which I've never really heard of, but I do live under a rock, so there's that. But the point I really want to hammer home here is my love for Obsidian Entertainment and what they do. These guys are made up of some of the people from Black Isle Studios, which closed back in 2003. Black Isle, in case you don't know, they are the ones that were made up from developers from the original Fallout game. They developed Fallout 2, the Baldur's Gate series, the Icewind Dale trilogy, to name a few. So these guys have produced quite a number of memorable games, and I'm sure all of our lives, and I'm more than confident that they will have much success developing what I consider a break from the norm for them and a new type of game for them in this free-to-play third-person tank combat game. This is unlike anything that they've done before, and a lot of studios you would be a little bit hesitant and wary about it, but I put all my trust in these guys, and I'm confident that this game is going to be just as good as its competition. So to start things off here, I just want to point this out to you guys. That was a C-130 that just got shot down and subsequently crashing into the town over there in a nice beautiful fireball display, and that's how this map starts off every single time you play on it. Name one map in War Thunder or World of Tanks that has something like that to look at as you're waiting to spawn in. Beautiful. We have Chinooks now flying in to, I guess, investigate the crash site, and that's awesome, especially in like War Thunder. But like World of Tanks, War Thunder, this game's two primary competitors. The early goings of each match is pretty boring and uneventful. As you're driving out to meet your enemy, you're struggling to not crash into your teammates. In this game, there's always something to see. I'm finding in each time I sally forth in these maps, there's always something new that I'd never noticed before. Look at this, we got drone flying overhead now, we got some Black Hawk helicopters coming in to investigate this crash now. So much action going on in this map that's not even really remotely associated with what's going on between the two teams, and that's just an awesome little detail that Obsidian has put into almost every single map that you'll play on. So the one thing I want to get out of the way is that, of course, I will directly be comparing this game to World of Tanks, and in some cases War Thunder. They are the competition for this game. Obsidian Entertainment has made it perfectly clear that they are the competition to those games. There's many similarities that I'm sure you can already draw between this and especially World of Tanks. So I'm not shy about comparing and contrasting the two games, or three in some cases. War Thunder is a little bit of a beast of its own color, or whatever the analogy is. But that's not to say that rank 1 games in Armored Warfare are the same as in World of Tanks. They are very much different. Take a look at my health down there. 817 hit points I have. That's about as much as your average rank 5, maybe? Rank 4 tank in World of Tanks. So it gives you a little bit more breathing room. You can take a few hits, as you can see what's happening to me right now as I'm getting annihilated by that M113 before he went down. You can take a few hits, you can try a few things, you can make a few mistakes before you finally get dragged under, which is good. In World of Tanks, you drive out there and you make a mistake and you're dead. This at least gives you a little bit of time to kind of get familiar with things. But that isn't to say that, you know, right off the bat, if you're a veteran player, you can just drive out in the open and guns blazing and have a good game. Yeah, that can't be any farther from the truth. You do kind of need to know what you're doing. A rank 1 game is very much like a rank 4 or a rank 5 game in World of Tanks, because you have more hit points. You need to know how to angle your armor, how to side scrape, how to spot, how to rely on your team. There's a lot of stuff that you kind of, if you have experience in this type of game before this, it'll really help you out going into a rank 1 game in Armored Warfare. Another thing real quick I want to touch on is the sound. For being an open beta, I wasn't too sure what to expect from the sound, but take a listen to that. That was impressive. The sound is really good. I mean, there's a few things that need, you know, a patch here and there, but I'm sure are incomplete. I can't name anything off the top of my head. But the sound is very, very good for what it is so far. Yeah, that was nice hearing the gun reload like that. And it wasn't all that long ago that we didn't even have sound files like that in World of Tanks. I think they put that in a patch at some point. I know War Thunder has been trying to get realistic sounds in for quite some time. But all that's coming standard pretty much in Armored Warfare. The sound is really top-notch. I can't stress that enough. You got the commander yelling commands to the different crew members, you know, ammo up and all that. It's just really nice. All the little subtle sound clips, and you know, different terrain you drive over, it gives you different sounds and stuff like that. It's you can't really put too much emphasis on sound, and especially in modern games, because a lot of your clients nowadays are educated and look for that stuff. But watch this. Game-winning kill. This was one of my first games in the PT-76. Really just trying to get familiar with this game. So let's jump into the other rank 1 vehicle. This is the M113, and it plays completely different from the PT-76. It's because it's a completely different vehicle. This is not a light tank. This is a armored fighting vehicle, which we'll get into all the different types of vehicles and stuff like that in another video. This one's going to be a pretty short one today. We're just going to take a quick look at this little beast and show you how it rolls, and man does it roll. I really don't think an M113 is supposed to be this fast, but it's an arcade style game, so you can't really put too much realism behind this stuff. But holy shit, is this thing fun. Really fast speed, really fast rate of fire, decent DPS, I guess. I really don't have anything to compare it to. Its role, I'm trying to figure out what its intended role is supposed to be. I guess maybe a spotting support style vehicle. I've taken a look at some of the modules on this thing to try and get a sense of how you're supposed to kit this thing out, what you're supposed to use it for. But then again, it is only a rank 1 vehicle. Its intended role is to get you familiar with the game. But really, I've broken the vehicles down into 2 different categories. There's your vehicles that go boom, and there's your vehicles that go daka 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 daka. This is in the latter category. This is a daka 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 vehicle. And, you know, I really should have done some research before I made this video, because I'm not too sure how many different categories of vehicles there are in this game. I know there's main battle tanks, light tanks, recon vehicles, wheeled vehicles, armored fighting vehicles, there's fire support vehicles, I think regular support vehicles. I'm pretty sure, I'm probably wrong. I know there's wheeled tank destroyers. So I don't know. All I know is that you either get a vehicle with a big gun that goes boom, or you get a vehicle with a fast-firing autocannon that goes daka daka daka. And the Tier 1 vehicles reflect that. They give you the PT-76, which teaches you how to play a tank, and they give you the M113, which teaches you how to play a vehicle with an autocannon. But despite what whoa, did you hear that? Holy crap. That's back to the sound files I was talking about. But despite the abundance of vehicles that you can research and play as in this game, they don't flood you with a whole bunch of different types of vehicles. For those of you who have been playing War Thunder or World of Tanks for a while, especially War Thunder, if you think back to when there was only 2 different nations doing ground forces, that is a lot what Armored Warfare feels like right now in open beta. The tech trees are big, but they're not really big. And you see the same tanks in each game, but it's enough to keep it fresh, and you don't have to worry about what 30 different tanks are and what their weaknesses are. It's manageable, is the word I'm looking for here. But, I mean, to be honest, in recent times, that's sort of... Wow! Okay, that tracer is getting a little bit too close for comfort here. I'm going to move around this ridge. But that's what's pushed me away from World of Tanks in recent times, is just the sheer volume of tanks that you go up against on the battlefield now is just much more than what it was, let's say, a year ago. I used to, be able to identify and destroy any tank that I go up against, and now there's just so many different tanks. With this, it's more streamlined. It's dumbed down, I guess, if you will. Instead of playing as a particular nation, you play... Jesus! Okay, yeah, I'm gonna get off this hill. You play as a private military company, and the two different tech trees are two different arms dealers, and they each sell tanks from a whole slew of different nations. So it's structured in that way. Instead of just following, let's say, the Russian or the American tech tree, you pick arms dealer A because they have more recon vehicles, or arms dealer B because they have more main battle tanks. So it's pretty refreshing. It's different, and I like it. I like it a lot. It's enough to give you plenty of variety to whet your appetite, but it's not too much to where you lose track of it all. My only real complaint that I have in the beta so far, and it's not even really a justifiable complaint, is the frame rate issues that a lot of people have been having. Right now I'm only getting 19 frames per second. I've seen it drop down as low as 5. Very rarely have I had it hit 30. But it is beta, and that's issues that they're going to have, so I'm not too worried about it. That's really about it. This match is over. This has been my first coverage of Armored Warfare. I hope it sparked you guys' interest. If so, head over to my.com and check it out. It's a free-to-play game. And as always, I'll see you when I see you. Take care.